Yo, this is Chef India. We're in the Sauce, Spice, and Smoke kitchen, and today we're doing it the Cinco de Mayo edition. On any Cinco de Mayo celebration, you're mostly going to find, in abundance, tacos. I love tacos. Tacos is one of my favorite things to eat. I eat tacos all the time. They're easy to find. Today's focus is basically all of our elements. We're going to make a couple sauces. We're going to make sure we have some smoky flavors. And yeah, there's definitely some spices that go into tacos. So let's talk through these ingredients and then we'll get started. For the spice part of things, we've got a couple different things here. We've got some brown sugar. We always love brown sugar in this kitchen for sweetness. We've got some white distilled vinegar. That's gonna go in our salsas that we're making today. Garlic is also going to be going into our salsas today. We need a lot of garlic today. Spice-wise, cumin. Really haven't cooked with cumin yet, but cumin is really a great flavor for tacos, so we're gonna add that to some of our proteins. So smoked paprika, again, spice and smoke in this. We've got a chili pepper mix. We've got some red pepper flakes. We've got our typical salt and pepper blend and our garlic and herb blend, okay? So that's what we're gonna use to make these tacos. As far as the proteins go, over here, we're gonna make 3 different types of tacos today. We've got some skirt steak, which is beef. We've got some Georgia brown local shrimp here. And then for the vegans and the vegetarians in the house, can't leave y'all out. We need a taco that y'all know that y'all can make, and we're gonna make a black bean taco. So these have been soaked, ready to cook down, and we will talk through the process of making that black bean taco a little bit later. Utensils, we are going to be using our blender today. We're going to be blending 2 different types of sauces. We're going to make Salsa Verde, which is a green salsa, and then a Salsa Rojo, which is your typical Mexican style bread salsa that you find just about everywhere. Our third condiment of today's taco trio is guacamole. So we've talked about this mortar and pestle, and we've talked a great deal about how we're going to use it. And when I first introduced it, I said that we use this as an example to make guacamole, so we're going to use that today as well. For our tomatoes that we need for our sauces, we're just going to give them a little blister. Again, this is going to provide some smoky flavors, so I'm going to put the tomatoes on a pan, and we're going to give them a little fire shot, kind of blister the outside, and then add the rest of the ingredients in the blender to blend and make those sauces. So speaking of the sauces and the guac, all of that is right here in front of me with this tomato, pepper, onion mix, and I'll tell you what's all in here. We've got some tomato tios. Tomato tios you can find at the grocery store, you can find at the farmer's market. It's a green tomato. We'll show you how to peel these and get these going. We've got some serrano peppers. Serrano peppers are green peppers, and basically in comparison to the jalapeno, it's just a little bit hotter. So it just depends on your heat aspect. If you like really hot peppers, you're gonna go with the serrano pepper. If you don't, you wanna go with the jalapeno. Speaking of peppers, we also have a red jalapeno. We're also going to use some onions in our mix. We've got a white onion, we've got a sweet onion, we've also got some shallots. All 3 of these are gonna go into our condiments today. Guacamole, can't have guac without avocados. These are just ripe enough to where we can mash them, and that's what we're gonna do in our mortar and pestle, so we'll make that guac. And then a lot of these elements are gonna have essences of lime, lime zest, lime juice. It's gonna be in the salsas and a couple other things as well. So that's why we have a bunch of limes here. Our cilantro. You can't have tacos without cilantro. I know some of y'all don't like cilantro, but cilantro is going in my tacos. So we have a bunch of cilantro here. We're gonna chop this down, and that's also going to be a garnish for our tacos, as well as this purple cabbage here. A lot of times, your tacos, your street style, you only want to have like a lettuce or something like that. But today we're going to do a quick pickle on some cabbage. The vessel that these tacos are gonna go in are these beautiful corn tortillas. okay? These are homemade style, freshly made corn tortillas. So we will grill these up, and when we're ready to plate these tacos, we'll utilize those as well. So it is Cinco de Mayo, taco time. Let's make some tacos, let's get going. So to get started on your tacos, we need to go ahead and season our proteins. We're gonna season our proteins first so that they can marinate and kind of sit to the side for a little bit to let that flavor infuse in them while we do other things. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our skirt steak, okay? You just wanna make sure that it gets all over it. You wanna season both sides, and then to make those spices really infuse, you're going to take a couple teaspoons of white wine vinegar and toss that around a little bit more. And once everything looks good to you on both sides of that skirt steak, all you have to do is set it aside, and we'll deal with that a little bit later. Same thing with the shrimp. All right, once you've cleaned the shrimp, you want to go ahead and take those spices, and again, you want to incorporate them, get it everywhere on that shrimp, all over, and once it's good to go, you're going to set that aside as well. Your black beans. So these black beans have been soaked in water. They're ready to go. They're ready to cook. It's not really going to take much to cook these black beans. We're going to season them as well. The black beans, we're going to add a little more spice by adding a little bit of red pepper flakes. And once these are seasoned, you can give them a good mix. And we're gonna put them in a pot on the stove, turn it on low, and that's gonna cook while we're doing everything else as well. We really want our black beans to cook low and slow. We don't wanna burn them, but we do want a lot of this water to evaporate, so by the time we get to making our taco, that black bean filling will be kind of thick, and it'll work really well with the corn tortilla. Next, we are going to take this purple cabbage, and we are going to basically make like a garnish for our tacos. At least for two of them anyway. So we're going to just take a knife, cut it down thin. It can be thick, however you want it, but remember, it's going on tacos. You can even chop this down a little bit more, mince it if you'd like, but for us, I want the strips, so I'm gonna cut them thin. We're gonna add them to a bowl, and then we're gonna season this as well. So all those great seasonings are gonna get into this bowl with the cabbage. The vinegar, we're gonna need a lot of vinegar. You're probably gonna need about a cup of vinegar. You're gonna make sure that you have enough to where you can toss the cabbage in it, and it kind of gets everywhere. Those spices get everywhere. And once you're done with this, you're gonna basically set it aside as well. You can put it in the fridge, and that will marinate while we do other things as well. So now that we've got our proteins seasoned, we've got our cabbage marinating, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into these salsas. This is like the star of the show today. I'm gonna start with our salsa verde. The star of the salsa verde is a tomato tillo, okay? It's a green tomato, kind of has its skin on it. You're gonna need to take that off. These have already been washed and dried, so you don't have to worry about it, but make sure you wash your vegetables, all right? And we've got some other things that are gonna go in here. We've got some green jalapenos, white onion, all right? And we are going to just cut these, but before we cut them down the sides, we are going to torch them. So for each one of these salsas, we want smoky flavors. If you don't have a torch at home, you can easily kind of either roast these in the oven to get a little char on them, put them on broil, or if you have a gas stove, you can just put them on your gas stove on the top and roast them, give them a little fire touch, and you'll get the same effect. But we're gonna torch these. So we're gonna start with adding our vinegar and our lime juice, and we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of that. Once you have that in there, you always wanna start your blender with some liquid. Once you have that in, I'm gonna add my tomato tillo. We're gonna blend that up, right? Then we're gonna add our onion and everything else. We're gonna blend that up. You want to test your texture. You wanna make sure you take a spoon, get in there and see how chunky it is, how pureed it is. It's a salsa, so you want it pureed a little bit, but you don't want it to be like super liquidy. So just kind of check where you are with that and see where you are by just taking a spoon and going in there and seeing what that looks like. But once that's done, salt and pepper to season, and we're good with this. So we're gonna pour this into a container. Your salsas are gonna last you about 2 weeks covered in the fridge. So, you know, if you have a container that we've been talking about, have containers on hand if you want to save stuff. Once this is made, you can put it in the fridge and you'll be able to have salsa whenever you want over the next 2 weeks. So Salsa Rojo is a typical salsa that you see when you go out to a Mexican restaurant. That's what you get. That's what they bring to the table. Sometimes they do other things where they are really spicy or have chipotle flavors, but your standard Salsa Rojo is what we have here today. We've got some tomatoes, we've got some red jalapenos, we're gonna add some garlic to this one, some cilantro, white onion, and basically take the same steps. We're gonna start the blender off with 3 tablespoons of vinegar and lime juice. We're gonna roast these vegetables so we can get that smoky char on them. And once we're done, we're gonna add them to the blender. Blend your tomatoes first, and you're gonna add your other elements. And once that's done, again, check for your texture. Make sure you have the right salsa texture. But basically, once you season, salt, and pepper, you'll be good to go. That's going to be your salsa rojo. All right, guac is not extra. You can easily make guac at home. All you need is some really good avocados, and something to match them up in. So we use our mortar and pestle in this kitchen. So what we're gonna do is we cut our avocados, we take the pits out, and then we take the flesh of the avocado, we add it to our mortar and pestle, and then we kind of mash it up to kind of get that going. All right, next we're gonna add some salt and pepper, lime juice, and we're also gonna add some minced up shallot, some cilantro, and some tomato. And once that's all mixed up, good to go, you have your fresh guac. To keep this fresh, you can keep guac in the refrigerator fresh. You gotta make sure it's covered, it's sealed, it's covered tight. A good trick is putting a piece of lime in there, and also one of the pits from your avocados. Don't know why that works, but it does, and it will keep your guacamole from browning. We're ready to go ahead and cook our proteins. I'm gonna go ahead and first do our tortillas because it's really quick, easy to do. Even if they kind of lose temperature a little bit, it's still fine. You don't want to just take fresh tortillas unless you just made them out of a package and use them. Even if it's flour or corn, what you should do is if you do buy tortillas from a store, you need to take them out the package and then basically with some olive oil in a hot pan, sear them on both sides. And once that's done, that will make your tacos malleable. What that means is you can form them, they won't break, you can put stuff in them. And if you do that to your flour or your corn tortillas, trust me, you will never stop doing it. So we're going to grill on a griddle pan our skirt steak and our shrimp. We're gonna do it all together at once. They've already been seasoned. So once this is hot, we've oiled it, we're gonna add our skirt steak, we're gonna add our shrimp. Of course, our shrimp is gonna be done quicker because it doesn't take long, but we're gonna add them all here together. So on one side, we're letting our skirt steak cook. We're flipping over our shrimp. You wanna make sure that they kind of have a char on them. Don't want to overchar, you don't want to overcook your shrimp. Kind of make sure they're cooked on the bottom. We talked about that a little bit before. And then once your shrimp is done, take them off. Check for your grill marks on your steak. You don't necessarily have to have grill marks, but basically you want high heat at first, then I turn it down to medium. I do it high at first so that I can kind of get that good sear on the one side of the steak, and then I turn it down to medium, let it cook through for about 8 minutes or so, and then we're gonna flip it over and do that to the other side until it's done. Once the skirt steak is done, we're gonna pull that off as well. We're gonna let it rest, and then we're gonna cut it and get ready for building our tacos. Before we get ready to build these tacos, we need one more garnish. I know we've done a lot. We've made 2 salsas, a guacamole, we've marinated some cabbage, but you can't have a taco, in my mind, if you don't have just a little bit of minced onion and cilantro readily available to people on the side if they want to add that to their tacos. So we're actually going to add that to our black bean taco versus the cabbage. So we're going to go ahead, mince up some onion and some cilantro, put it aside, and then that will be basically simply a garnish for our black bean taco. All right, so we're ready to go. We're gonna take a plate, all right? We're going to plate these 3 tacos together just using some lime wedges. Is a really cool trick so that you can kind of get your tacos to sit upright so you can fill them with stuff. And we're going to fill our first taco. We're gonna do shrimp. Now we're gonna do the steak. And now we're gonna take some of the black bean. We're gonna put that in there, all right? For the shrimp, we're going to then do the pickled cabbage. We're gonna do the same with the steak. All right, and then with the black beans, like we just showed you, we're going to do the minced onion and the cilantro. Awesome. Now for these salsas and guacs. For the shrimp, we're going to do our tomato tillo salsa verde. And for the steak, we're going to do our salsa rojo. And for the black bean taco, we're just gonna go ahead and do a dollop of guacamole, right? And to finish these off, we're gonna add a little sprig of cilantro for extra added touch. And that's it. We've got our tacos trio. If you look at these, they're really beautiful. They're really gonna be good to eat. And if you have a taco party at home, Any and everybody's gonna want one of these tacos. That's it. Enjoy them. For future videos, like this video, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell, and we'll see you next time on Sauce Spices Smoke.